It is Wednesday, January 18th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm Matt Modi with my 3 favorite NBA player props for today. I'm only going to have 3 in this video because as of right now, there's a lot of uncertainty with the slate, with teams being on back-to-backs, with injury news and all that stuff. A lot of books don't have player props posted yet for certain guys that I was really targeting. So I'm only going to have 3 in this video, and what I would recommend doing is following me on Twitter if you're not already, because I'm probably going to post plays as the day goes on, as injury news gets announced and props get released and all that good stuff. So just wanted to put that out there at the beginning. Before I can give you today's picks, I got to do a recap from yesterday, which finally, our cold streak came to an end. We had been profitable every single day from Friday up until yesterday. That ended yesterday. My 3 picks, none of those 3 cashed. We ended day 0-3, down 3 units. Really just the wrong reads on all 3. I pumped up some point props. None of the main lines would have hit either. So just a bad day. It's what it is. Zion, I had him 25 plus points. He didn't come close. I had Paolo Banchero 30 plus points. He made it somewhat close at the end, scoring 26. That's still an under. And then my last play, I had Jason Tatum 4+ made 3-pointers. He only got us to 3 and a blowout. 0-3 day. Luckily, we had been on an insane run up until that. We are still up like 9 units since Friday. That brings our total profit season to date. We are up 38.23 units with an ROI of 24.59%. I'm never going to apologize with that type of success, but it really does suck having a bad day. Hopefully we can have another hot streak start today. So if you're not already, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, so when we go on another heater, you are along for the ride. And then for this video, like, comment, all that good stuff helps me out a ton. And let's get into these picks. The first play that we're going to go ahead and talk about is in the Grizzlies versus Timberwolves game. I'm taking Karl Anthony Towns under 22.5 points. This is at -125 odds at FanDuel. So this is our first play of the day, and I'm already calling it our Pepto play of the day because it's going to feel a little bit queasy going down, a little bit queasy, your stomach's not going to feel great, so you're going to want to take some Pepto just to settle your stomach a little bit. It's not the scariest play in terms of odds. It's actually the only non-plus money banger that we have, but in terms of win percentage and how Cat's been playing recently, it's going to feel a little bit scary. And he's been awesome. No doubt about it. He's been awesome. He's gone over this number in 6 of his last 9 games. That's very nice. And in 2 of the games he missed, he scored exactly 22 points. So even when he missed, he was still coming close. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, with all that said, why are you fading him tonight? Well, first of all, those of you that have been following me know I love a classic flip-flop method, fading recent results kind of play. And the books are actually pricing that into account. So we aren't getting great value based on what Karl Anthony Towns has done because they're pricing it pretty low considering what he's done. You're probably wondering why, and there are a couple reasons for that. Number one, the Timberwolves are on the second back of a back-to-back. He only played 30 minutes last night, so it wasn't like he played a ton, but he still did play 30 minutes, and that was in Detroit, so they had to travel back home after that. And this is also a pretty tough matchup against the Grizzlies, and then this is the main reason why we are on this play, because of the matchup. The Grizzlies, they're insanely banged up. One of the worst luck teams I can remember having in recent memory. But they still do a pretty good job guarding these types of players like Karl Anthony Towns, the stretch bigs, taller guys who can shoot and who are 3-level scorers. Mostly that's because of Jaren Jackson Jr. He's an awesome defender, super versatile, really equipped to guard guys like Karl Anthony Towns. And the injuries that the Grizzlies have suffered mostly been on the perimeter guard guys, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, Ja Morant. Steven Adams was the only big man that has been hurt for the Grizzlies and has been out for the year. Per Courtside Pal, amazing website that is new, so I'd recommend checking it out. The Grizzlies allow the second fewest points per game to someone with Karl Anthony Towns' scoring profile. That kind of goes with what I said about the Grizzlies doing a good job guarding big men who can shoot. And the Grizzlies generally do a pretty good job against Cat. We all remember that playoff series, even though the Grizzlies did end up winning them. I had that mix up. The Grizzlies did end up winning. Very hit or miss series for Cat. Last year, in the past 2 years, I should say, he's averaged just over 18 points against the Grizzlies. So I like this as an underplay. It's our only minus money, non-plus money banger of the day. Let's hope that we can cash Cat going under. Next up, our second pick in the Thunder versus Jazz game. I'm taking Lauri Markkanen under 24.5 points, +114 odds at DraftKings. So another fade play for our second pick, another under. Kind of a similar player type to Karl Anthony Towns, taking the under of a shooting big man and Lauri Markkanen, playing for a Jazz team that is on fire. Probably the best team in the NBA over the past 10, 12 games or so. But as good as they've been, this is not quite like Karl Anthony Towns, where Lauri has just been blowing up and consistently going over this number. Yeah, he has gone over in 2 straight games, for sure. One of those was against the Pacers. That doesn't really count. But he's only gone over in 5 of his last 10 games, in 8 of his last 15. So basically a 50% hit rate, even coinciding with the fact that the Jazz have been on fire. And similar to our previous play, this is a very, very tough matchup, according to Courtside Pal. Very, very similar player type, Lauri Markkanen to Karl Anthony Towns. The Thunder give up the 7th fewest points per game to someone of Lauri Markkanen's scoring profile. They have Lauri as one of their biggest negative point differentials for today's slate. Now, that doesn't mean negative point differential as in their projections versus the sportsbook's over-unders. It just means negative compared to what he has recently been scoring. That's kind of how they track that. I did consider that with this pick, and it makes sense, right? Chet Holmgren is not as good as Jaren Jackson Jr., but he is still a very good, versatile, tall defender who can guard the perimeter and down low against big guys like Lauri Markkanen who can shoot. Props.cash lists the Thunder as the 3rd toughest matchup in the NBA when it comes to power forward point props. They've done a good job limiting them all year. In the last 8 games, only 3 have gone over their point total over under, and they're all bench guys who Chet wouldn't even be guarding in the first place. We're talking like Amir Coffey, Christian Wood, Chris Murray. Those are the 3 that have gone under in the past 8 games. So our second play, another underplay. I absolutely love it. Next up, 3rd and final pick of this video, Thunder versus Jazz game. So we're sticking in the same game. I'm taking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 6.5 assists. You can get this at BetRivers at +123. Finally, our 3rd play, another overplay, or our first overplay, I should say. Same game, another play, as you guessed it, because of the matchup. As good as the Jazz have been, they allow a ton of assists to point guards. And that hasn't really changed that much recently. On the entire year, they're giving up the most points per game to point guards in the NBA. Over the past month, they're allowing the 4th most assists per game to point guards. So sure, somewhat better. Not really though. Props.cash lists the Jazz as the 2nd easiest matchup for point guard props, point guard assist props specifically. Only the Wizards are worse. And if there's a defensive category where the only team worse than you is the Wizards, trust me, that's not very good. And to go even further than that, not only does Courtside Pal look at shooting profile and scoring profile, they also look at playmaking profile and what type of playmaker a player is. And the Jazz give up the 2nd most assists per game to someone of SGA's playmaking style. They list SGA as one of their favorite assist plays of the day. So I did look at Courtside Pal a lot for today's picks, but I liked it not just because they also liked it. I also kind of had to do my own research as well. This is a play. I'm going to go ahead and ladder SGA to 8+ and 10+ assists as well. Now we're only going to track officially whether he hits the over 6.5, but if you follow me on Pickett, you will see that I did ladder him up as well. Despite having absurd scoring splits, SGA is still a really good passer who does a good job spreading the ball around. He averages 12.1 potential assists per game, which is not, top 3, top 5 in the NBA, but still towards the top of the potential assist leaders in the NBA. Puts him in line with guys like LeBron and Cade Cunningham. Both of those guys average over 7 assists per game. And in this matchup, very confident he'll be able to get it. He'll be able to get us to 7 officially, and then hopefully cashing our ladder plays as well. And that's all we got. 3 plays for you guys to lock in. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Comment if you are tailing me on these picks. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.